And I'm Sifu Chad.
And we are now doing our stream. We're doing a live stream, and this is available to any of you folks over on patreon.com/cfuz. So welcome. We're going to kind of do these streams almost methodically. So that way, if you're coming in and you're watching the archives of these streams, they'll kind of make sense and not repeat too much, right? Anything that is worth repeating, I will repeat, but otherwise, we'll just sort of treat it like a progress or a series of classes, let's say. Let's see if we can actually achieve that, this series of classes thing. So, if this is your first time with us, you're just joining, you're new to martial arts, then let me sort of do a quick briefing, if you will. We are students of Grandmaster Chris Chan. Uh, Sifu Chad, I gotta get some water. Sifu Chad is a Sifu of mine. I'm a Sifu of Grandmaster Chris Chan, and Grandmaster Chris Chan is a Sifu of Great Grandmaster Itman. And let's just think about that and gloat upon that while I drink upon some fresh water. That's right, Itman, Chris Chan, us, you. That's nuts. All right. Anyway, one of the things we do when we come into the Quan, that's what this is. It's a virtual Quan. One of the things we do is we always greet the folks that are teaching us stuff and bringing us the wisdom. We greet them as Sifu. If you don't greet them as Sifu, we will just see that as a sign of disrespect, and it, you can go elsewhere to learn your or do whatever you want to do. That's the wonderful thing about the freedom of the internet. Yes. All right. Anything else important? Yeah, although we're not touching one another, if you were touching one another, you got to be clean. You got to keep it clean, especially these days. You got to keep it clean, right? So that's all I'm gonna say there. You got to cut your nails. You got to you got to keep it clean. Because if you're in contact or even in close proximity to one another, you do not want to be biologically overloaded, right? Okay, enough on that. One of the great training aids of Wing Chun is the sandbag. It's one of the great training aids of Kung Fu. That's the sandbag. With the sandbag, you always have this. Now, you're not always going to carry around the sand. If you have to travel, you can empty the sand, right? And then when you get someplace else, you can just fill it back up with sand. You go, well, where if I don't got any sand? Well, you can put rice in here, you can put beans. All right, there's all kinds of stuff you can put in here and punch it until it turns into a powder. Yeah. Now, Sifu Chad has one of the custom bags that we used to make back in Hawaii, and those things are really cool. That is the travel bag, right? This is the official bag. The official bag is this size. We don't really have a bigger size, and then you really want two of these to do both upper and lower gates, right? But have at least one, and this size. The reason you want this size is great for exercising. It's great for doing little exercises, right? Doing grabbing, right? You're getting a really good. You're not just grabbing like this, like a pole. You're grabbing with your fingers and really developing a nice amount of strength in your tendons. If you don't think this is heavy enough, Oh, okay. Try squeezing it really hard with your fingers. Oh, it gets really heavy all of a sudden. So this will be as heavy as you want it to be, especially if you understand isodynamic, kinetic resistance, right? Just internal resistance. We learned this in Wing Chun, but Jack LaLanne made it pretty popular too in America back in the 50s and 60s. So sandbag, have a sandbag. If you can't do anything significant with your hands, right? You're going to be in trouble. You know, they don't have to be so strong that you can rip flesh apart, but they do have to be strong enough to be able to put out in front of you and not get hurt. Right. And if you're musicians, like it seems like most of the people I cohort with seem to be musicians, then you want to really make sure that you use this wisely and not like beat it and ruin your hands, get bad carpal tunnel and be real limited to your ability to play your instrument. Anyway, enough of my sobbing. The other thing we were talking about is this here pole. Yeah, 10-foot pole. It's actually a 9.5 point pole. There's a very can you do the Chinese name for the 9.5 inch pole? 9.5 inch pole, 9.5 foot pole. Yeah, to you guys it's inches, but in real life it's feet. Can you say the name? Can you say the name of the 9.5 inch pole?
The Luc Dim Boom Huang.
Ah, yeah. Now I know why I can't say it. It just makes me laugh. Yeah, I feel like a cowboy on that kung fu TV series. What did you just say to me, boy? All right. Yeah. So I call it a 9.5 inch pole, and I've recently given it an upgrade grade and call it a 10-inch pole. Listen, I can call this a 10-inch pole if you can call a 2x4 a 2x4, because a 2x4 ain't 2x4. So yeah, this is a 10-inch pole for now on. All right. End of rant. This is our a wonderful coordination and resistance device, right? It used to be used for rowing boats in the traditional Wing Chun system, and then using it to fight, especially fighting someone that's armed at a distance. You can get to them before they can get to you with their sword or their knife. But in modern day, it's just an invaluable aid for utilizing the dynamic that you have here, right? And that dynamic represents the dynamic of someone's arm and manipulating, just ever so slightly manipulating that arm. Right? It's just ingenious. But then again, all of Wing Chun is ingenious. That's why it takes an average intelligence guy like myself and turns me into a super genius. Yes, that's what it does. It turns us all into super geniuses. Thank you, Wing Chun. All right. Thank you, Chris Chan. Thank you, Itman. Thank you, Ning Moy. All right. That's the lineage, by the way. Yeah, you got the Ning Moy, who taught the Wing Chun, who taught, well, then a whole bunch of people. We ain't going into that. Modern times, we got Itman. We got Chris Chan and Bruce Lee, by the way. And then us. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Where was I? Okay, we got the poll. The only thing we don't have. Oh, okay. By the way, yes. What about the Barcham dough? What about the Barcham dough? You guys are hungry, right? Okay, hold on. Let me get the Barcham dough for you. Just kidding. Right here. You don't think I didn't have the Barcham dough just right here behind. I'm a magician. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm a magician.
Sorry, I couldn't hear like the
I'm a.
last 30 seconds because the dude came around the basketball court finally.
Oh, okay. Well, good, good, good. Now you're back on
It was
board.
the lineage, though. Something
Um.
about the lineage. Oh, here he comes again.
Oh, okay. Well, Sorry about that. Yeah, Chad's having some landscaping issues over there. Um, so we got the sandbag, right? We've got the pole. I'm showing you all the stuff that you're going to need as a Wing Chun practitioner. And there's two more things. One thing, I got to make it before I can get it to you guys, and that's the carbon fiber mukjang. Yeah, because it has to be portable and all that. So that's in the making. It's a long time been in the making. I'd even like to do a carbon fiber collapsible version of this that you can weight with sand. But I think it's more important to focus on the mukjang first, and then I'll get on that project. Here is the Bart Jam Do. So really, you can travel with everything you need as a Wing Chun master, except for the Mukjang. And I'm even trying to find a place that I can secretly put the Mukjang, because it's better to kind of risk the Mukjang than to not be able to train on it, right? So I'll be doing that, and then we're going to train together on the Mukjang out in the forest. That's what we're going to do. All right. The other thing is the barchamdo. They're also called butterfly swords. It's because Wing Chun is a female martial art. It's called Wing Chun, which is beautiful spring, and barchamdo is butterfly swords, right? And the 9.5 inch pole is probably a non-offensive thing, but it is funny. So you know the woman made a funny joke about the 9.5 inch pole, or 9.5 foot pole, made a funny joke about it, and then say it again, Sifu Chad.
Look Team Boom One.
I could just see a bunch of women laughing, going, "Oh my god, yeah, we're gonna call it that. We are girlfriend. We are calling it that. High fiving each other, right? Yeah, because Wing Chun was invented by women, FYI. Yeah, Shaolin nuns who were submissive to the men, of course. So they had to do everything in secret, right? The pole, right? And then when it got to the men, guess what? The men had to do it in secret. So guess who they had to dress and drag. Oh, Wing Chun has such a sordid, history. No wonder China pretended like it never existed until recently. Then they're like, okay, yeah, yeah. Butterfly swords. Here they are. Here they are. These don't look like official butterfly swords. Where's the handguard and all that? Well, let me tell you something. As a nomad, I can't carry around those decorative and very heavy and non-functional blades. I just can't do it. I can't. Sometimes I got to go backpack mode, man. So I can't do that. So instead, I use these things, and these are very functional. This is just a cut down machete. It used to be about this big, cut it down so it's about the right size, right? Yeah. And then there's this, which is it has a little bit of a guard on it, right? And it has a little bit of this on it.
You got yourself a new Bart John Doe sword there,
Well, yeah, what
or at
I've
least
done,
I remember your old ones.
I still have those, but these they have to function, right? And so these are very functional blades.
Yeah.
And when I practice them, I just keep the sheaths on, because this has a jagged edge on one side and a sharp razor edge on the other. This has a razor edge and a massive little point, you know. So these will do some massive damage if they just touch your skin, right? So
Hmm.
I always keep, when I train with these, I keep the sheaths on. And then when I'm feeling really on and feeling into it, I'll take the sheaths off and I'll do it. But otherwise, I'll just keep the sheaths on when I'm working this stuff, right? Just there, I would have cut myself, right? And it's a wake up call too, to make sure your bond cells are out proper when you're doing this stuff, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
because otherwise you're gonna cut yourself to shreds. So,
I have
let's
my butterfly. I didn't realize I wasn't muted as that guy was going through. Sorry.
oh, yeah.
I have my butterfly swords in my vehicle as well. Um, they're dulled, but they're definitely um, they're maybe not cut functional, but that thing could definitely split a skull with
Oh,
a
yeah,
straight
yeah, yeah. Here's the
jab.
thing, I would
The weight
I
is there's so
I
much
would
weight on it.
if I were to attack a person, I were to use these, I'd probably still keep the sheath on.
Right. Seriously
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, because you don't want to go to jail for hacking somebody yeah. So, and again, these things still act more as exercise devices,
Hmm.
right? They act more as the exercise devices than they are used for self-defense. Because in Wing Chun, we don't really use weapons per se, right, in Wing Chun, but we have them and we use them more for exercise purposes. So let me just turn this off because I forgot I had it on. There it is. Um, yeah, I'm doing the lo-fi audio playing out of my rolling cube, playing my YouTube video out of the rolling cube. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, just keeping that's what this is great for the wrist exercises and then
mhm.
also for learning, a good technique on knife fighting, big knife fighting. Hey, if you're going to go to a knife party, you might as well go big, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at this thing compared to the size of my head. You can decapitate with this stupid thing, right? So, and then this is more for fine work, like when you want to shave. This is what I shave with. I just shave with this. Apocalypse Now style, So, uh yeah, we use our hands predominantly. I always say one of the great things about being an open hand martial art practitioner is that if somebody brings a weapon to the party, you can go ahead and take it. It's like it's yours. It's like a gift. They're bringing you a gift. Their hands are occupied, going, "Here, take it," right? And then you just take it and go, "Thank you. Here, let's put that aside." Good God, y'all! What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
I said, say it again. uh, all right.
Rush Hour was one of my favorite past comedy kung fu with Jackie Chan in it. It really was.
All right. Now, is there anything, Sifu Chad, that we should, anything that I might have missed out telling a newcomer, somebody just coming in, which is probably going to be most of the folks uh, that we bring in at this point will be pretty new.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
we could go over the simple grounding, the simple stance of Kimima.
hmm. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. We'll have to make it kind of quick. Of course, grounding is we could actually just say all of martial arts is about grounding.
Hmm.
So what Sifu Chad is offering here is to kind of get you started on the whole process because it's a lifelong process. Wing Chun gives us our grounding pretty dang quick, right?
It does.
Compared to other martial arts where I've had black belts come in and of various martial arts
Yep.
and they just didn't have the
Same.
grounding that they thought they had, you know. So and they wind up realizing how critical the grounding is. What everyone likes is the fancy stuff. All the fancy
Yeah.
footwork and all the fancy, but what they tend to ignore is the grounding. Even in weightlifting, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say that. He's like, man, all the guys that like this stuff, and then you look at their legs and they got these little pencil legs, right? Almost the same thing. People kind of we take our legs for granted because we're always using them, right? We
And you
feel
just
like,
don't want to look between them.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I'm joking. Joking.
we always use our legs. When I went to Chris Chan, Grandmaster Chris Chan, I was pretty sure that I had my footwork together, and that he had to just show me that fancy like wah stuff, right?
Mhm.
So then we started doing footwork, and he just did nothing but like corrected me throughout the whole exercises for like an hour, like just of correcting me. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? My footwork is that bad. Oh, this is horrible. This is bad news. I climb mountains. I've danced ballet with the director of the New York City Ballet, Fred Dinelli, from New York City Ballet. All this stuff I've done, right? I
Mhm.
used to jump bikes over ramps with just a plank of wood and then land on my Jimmy
Mhm.
because there's big old sissy bars in the back and everything on a huffy. That's when we knew how to do things. Anyway, what was I talking about? Uh,
Grounding.
Grounding. Yes, no, that wasn't. Sifu Chad was talking about grounding.
Right.
Yes, grounding is one of the most important things in martial arts, and Sifu Chad's going to go over that right now. Give us 19 minutes. No, 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 no. Give us 18 minutes of grounding, Sifu Chad.
18 minutes of grounding.
Yes.
Shall I?
Oh, no, no, no. Not 18. 8.
8 minutes. Yeah, I was like 18 minutes of ground. It's like, should I just do Zoom tap for 18 minutes?
Oh, no, 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 no. You can demonstrate it and you could talk about it, but
All right.
we don't, of course, we don't have enough time to like do a good grounding session, right?
All right.
But
So,
we do have a good amount of time to, at least enough time to introduce the concept to anyone that might be unfamiliar with it. If you go to cfuz.com, I'm pretty sure you're familiar. You're familiar, but I am, even though I know the concept, I'm excited to hear what Sifu Chad has for us today on the concept of grounding.
all right, for this concept, we're just gonna go with a because I guarantee if I don't set the limit now, I'm gonna go way overboard, right? So we're just gonna focus on the simple grounding of standing in place, forward and square, right? And we'll start with our in Wing Chun we call it Kimi Ma. It's also known as grasping the goat. So, if there's any goat riders out there, you know the stance,
I already
right?
know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
All
go
right.
sideways for the profile, and then you could be the front view.
Sideways the camera.
I'll be sideways, you front view, or
Okay.
you front view, me sideways.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah. All right. So, Kimima, we'll start off with our feet together, right? Feet together. We're not going to have our knees completely straight, right? But they're going to be slightly bent, right? We're going to posture, right? Just like in yoga, you have your the string on your head, kind of uh, lifting your spine to make it straighten out your spine, right? So you have a good posture. Shoulders aren't forward too much; they're back, right? So now we have our standing in place posture here. Now to get into Kimi Ma, we are going to simply, right? We are going to go move our heels out first, right? We make a nice little triangle here. As you can see, I know it looks goofy, but and then we're going to bring our toes out, right? And now we have this sort of like half squat stance. Now we're going to bring our heels out one more time. All right. So with Sifu Z, you can see that his side stance, right? His knees are slightly bent. His hips aren't all the way forward, but they're slightly forward, right? His posture's up, nice. over the feet, right? Now that you have the stance of standing in this place, it might, if you can't bring your heels out as far as we can, that's okay. You can adjust, right? And, bring it further. Some people got knee problems and stuff like that. So if going the intensity of the grasping the goat is too much, then go ahead and just kind of keep your toes in, but not as much. Compensate for our ailments, right? Compensate for our ailments. So now we're in this position, right? Our knees should just barely cover over our toes, okay, when we look down. Now we're here. Now that the stance is here, the internal part is what makes it happen. What makes this stance so strong? Aside from it just being a natural structure of triangulation, as you can see, our toes, when they come forward, they come to a point, right? When our heels has a point on both heel, point there, right? Our strike comes to the point. So we have this nice triangulation here, right? And triangles are very strong structures, incredibly strong structures, right? You don't want to get hit by the point of a triangle. It doesn't feel good. So we're going to grasp the goat now, right? We're going to squeeze in with our legs. We should feel the tension on the inner part of our legs. If you stood on a train before and just ridden the train and you didn't have enough room to grab a thing, you might understand that you have to grab the train, right? So in this case, we're grabbing the ground, right? Or for a little bit better of a visualization, pinching, right? We're pinching it, but we're pinching it with our feet, not our fingers, right? Or with our legs, not our fingers, I should say. So now we're grabbing, right? We want to use Dantien or Nim Lick, which is what we call pulling up from the groin. It's kind of like holding in your pee, holding in your urine, right? You're activating your lower core muscles, your lower abdomen, right? You're sucking and you're bringing it all up. So we're squeezing, we're sucking up, and our abs are getting nice and solid here. So from your top of your abs and down should be solid as a rock right now. You should be grabbing that ground. You should be holding your intensity through your center, your middle, your abdomen, and this right here is the beginning of finding your grounding. Was that described well enough, Sifu Z?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, now here's a wonderful thing about not training in a vacuum. And when I say that, I mean even if you have students not training in a vacuum, because you and your students are the vacuum, right? It's not until you break out lineage on both ends where you're getting you're getting, to me, a very rich martial art, right? So by having Sifu Chad explain this, we also get to see what Sifu Chad's focus is on that very base level, right? Does that mean everybody's base level focus in Kimi Ma is the same? Well, yes and no. I mean, the physics are physics, right? Uh, but there are definitely, I've done the whole video on this, layers of understanding a thing, right? Layers of understanding music, layers of understanding art, like painting, layers of understanding engineering, layers of understanding coding, right? There's layers of understanding. And so when it comes to grounding, we will be giving you these layers, right? And the more layers I can give, like from other Sifu or even other people that train and what their perspective on grounding is, the more rich our understanding of grounding, which is vast. I mean,
So
we're talking about gravity, okay?
it's the vastness of space.
Gravity is the least understood of the sciences. We know enough to get to planets and stuff, so don't get that wrong. But of all the science and whatnot, we really don't understand gravity as much as we understand a lot of the other stuff, right? So grounding is about gravity, is about our interaction with gravity, and then our interaction with gravity and another person, whole or
Mm-hmm.
people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
grounding is huge. And then where's grounding when you're here? Oh, now gravity is really playing hard on you because gravity has more surface to work on when you're here. So why do a lot of Wing Chun guys suck at grappling? Because they don't do their Wing Chun here. They don't apply it and understand how much harder it is to apply anything laying down than it is standing up, right? Controlling distance is a lot harder laying down than it is standing up, right? Controlling distance is much easier when you run or back away quickly, right? So, um, so grounding huge. Another thing about grounding is it could be confused with balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And balance and grounding are wonderful bed partners, you know, because if you know how to ground, but then you also know how to balance, then you can be unbalanced and then just go right back to balance in midair, so to speak, right? Um,
Just
I
like Michael
use
Jackson.
Yeah, I use a skateboard. Some people use what is that board that the board that they use the balance board? Oh,
Oh,
usually
Bosu
it'll be like,
ball.
what is it?
The Bosu ball.
No, no, no.
The half circle.
It's a tube or a half circle, whatever, like this, and then it's a plank, and
Oh,
then you
Indo
just
board. The
an
Indo
indo
board.
board, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The Indo board. That thing's
yeah,
great.
you can use an indo board. I use a skateboard, but the whole idea is you practice your. I got bare feet, so I'm asking for trouble here. But just getting on that whole concept of getting off balance. And look, I'm doing the Wing Chun stance here as well. So I'm getting the double stance here, right?
Right.
So I'm a lot more confident with shoes on with that one.
I don't skate barefoot very often.
Yeah. So using these kind of tools or skateboard, great excuse to have a skateboard. And incorporating into your kind of just doing it for the Wing Chun purpose of it, um, getting balance and marrying that with your grounding. Wow, wow, that's superhuman abilities, And so people that have this kind of balance don't necessarily have grounding, and people that have grounding don't necessarily have that kind of balance. So if
Indeed.
you can marry the two, well, good on you, right? And that's my little homework. In Wing Chun, we always have homework. We have the traditional, where I'm showing you all the traditional stuff. I didn't get to show you the Muk Chung, but everything else you got to see. We have the traditional, and then we have the hybrid, right? And then we have the homework. And the homework is like for me these days hasn't been jujitsu. Jujitsu used to be the homework. Now it's skating because man, to marry the skating with the grounding has just been man. So much confidence comes from that marriage. That's a very confident marriage.
Mhm.
you know uh oh,
Undivorceable.
yeah, hopefully
Hopefully,
hopefully never to
they have
unmarry.
so much in common.
Yeah. Now at this point, it's amazing how quickly a half hour goes by. Um, and sometimes we'll go longer, right? Again, if you're only catching this, understand that we also do a half hour or more before this session. So you can catch that and kind of get warmed up and then come here. And because we're going to be ramping it up more and more. Right now, we're just kind of introducing you to the stuff, what you need. We're going to start showing you some of these exercises, the grounding, some of the upper body exercises, some of the lower body exercises. We're going to slowly be introducing this to you, but once the introduction's over, once the how they say the honeymoon's over, we start getting serious, right? So it's pretty much going to be a lot less talking. Hopefully, a lot less talking. I say hopefully because we should do all the talking beforehand. Do the talking beforehand. So when we get here, if you got a question or two, that's cool. But otherwise, we're trying to get some work done in this particular half hour. We warm
Mhm.
up the first half hour, we get the work done in this half hour. But again, right now, for the first few dozen or so streams, we're going to just kind of be easing on into it, and introducing what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're offering. um, Sifu Chat, is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion to this stream?
Do your homework.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
all I can
Which
say.
for them is this actually?
Which for them is this? Yeah, do your homework.
Yeah. Yeah. Which for
Get
them
that
is
stance
this?
down. Get that stance down.
Yeah. Get the stance down. Very good. And for the next class that we do, we're going to talk about grounding again because Sifu Chat's going to remind me that we're going to talk about grounding again. We're going to be talking about grounding all the time.
A lot.
But I'm going to give you some really good tips to help you to get that grounding fast and not have to, wait so long and train for so long before you get it. Right. So I got some tips. Sifu Chad also is going to have some tips for you in that department as well. If there's anything that you'd like to know specifically, you can leave it in the comments section of Patreon. Because I don't know that this is going to have a comment section. You could try the YouTube comment section, but you're probably going to get more better uh, service, shall we say. You're gonna have better luck over at patreon.com/cfuz, leaving your comment where the video is over there. Give me a little time to put the videos and populate the Patreon, as this is a whole new sort of approach that we're using to get the Wing Chun, to get the Kung Fu, to get the martial art, to get the fitness sustainable and practical.
To connect
Get
it
it out,
all.
and to get it out, yeah, connect it. I'll get it out to you, and be able to interact with you guys wherever you may be, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. All right. This has been brought to you by sifuz.com. That's SIFUZ.com. That's where you go to learn the sustainable method of fitness and I keep mixing the words here because there's so many words you can use with Wing Chun, but it's a practical method of self defense. It's a practical, wouldn't you say it's a practical method of self defense?
It is a practical method of
Yeah.
self-defense.
Now, I don't know about sport fighting and that kind of stuff, but for
It's
self
a
defense,
practical method of fitness.
yeah. And a sustainable method of fitness.
A sustainable.
Yes, practical self defense, sustainable fitness. Those are the words I'm always trying to use. I apologize if I use other words. Synonyms and antonyms will creep in when you least expect it. So, Now let's see. I think that's it. Here is our greeting and our salutation, and it is Bon Sao, Ton Sao, Pak Sao. And then we could even bring this hand together because this is pretty universal. I also like it. It comes from Buji, but that's another class. I mean, really, you go either way with this. It's a great one. Look, it protects the spleen. All right, I could go on for hours, and we do. I'll see you guys the next video, and thank you, Sifu Chad, for joining. And we're doing this again Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, if I don't remind you, remember to remind me. Okay.
Okay. I will.
All right. I'll talk to you later, bro.